What's going on, YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I want to talk about the top 10 production knife companies that are out there making excellent knives for people like you and me. You know, a lot of times when I've got somebody that's kind of new to the knife world or new to the hobby and they're not really sure what direction to go, but they know they want to, spend some more money on a premium product. There are individual models sometimes with companies that are very easy to recommend, but not necessarily the company as a whole. And, on the other hand, there are definitely entire companies that are very easy to recommend to newcomers and to, longtime enthusiasts alike. I think you guys can agree with me. I found this, I thought this might be an interesting topic for you guys to hear my top 10 favorites. As always, this is just my opinion. It's not necessarily, you shouldn't necessarily, live by this. Especially if you're a new person, explore the knife world for yourself and definitely make your own decisions. But these are the top 10 companies that I would recommend to people who don't really know exactly where they're going. Now, of course, what we have here in front of you, I'm sure you guys are thinking, of course, he's going to say Rick Hinderer Knives. Actually, these two are placeholders and runner-ups, or honorable mentions, rather. Rick Hinderer Knives, and actually I'm going to put Chris Reeve Knives in here as well, even though I don't have one to use as an example. They are both, both the XM18 being the flagship model for Rick Hinderer Knives, and the Sebenza 21 being the flagship model for Chris Reeve Knives. Excellent knives. Amazing fit and finish, amazing quality control. Both Chris Reeve Knives and Rick Hinderer Knives have built a reputation for absolute quality, great warranties, easy to work with. The problem is, and what keeps keeps me from recommending Rick Hinderer and Chris Reeve to everyone, is the fact that most of their knives are over $400. You're not talking $100, $200, $300 expensive, which is really expensive to people coming into this hobby. You're talking $400, $500, $600 and beyond expensive, which is a whole, like the fact that the quality's great and, that the models are ergonomic and functional and, people's ears are deaf to that and people's eyes are blind to that when you have a giant dollar sign flashing and exploding in front of their faces. It's really hard for people to see around that. So for that reason, both Rick Hinderer Knives and Chris Reeve Knives are going to be honorable mentions here. As hard as that was for me to do that or say that, you guys know I'm a gigantic Rick Hinderer fan. And I love Chris Reeve Knives as well. So it's hard for me to say that. But I got to be honest, they're not going to be for everybody. Let's start out with number 10 here. These are in order. Number 1 is my absolute favorite, and I think they're absolutely doing the best job out there in the knife world, so just know that. But I do love all of these companies on this list. If your favorite company is not on this list, I'm sorry. Just remember, this is just my opinion. Don't be offended by it. Number 10 is going to be Benchmade. And I know a lot of you are going to go, oh, Benchmade has quality control issues right now. And then, listen, the quality control issues that, are kind of hurting Benchmade right now, I think are being blown a little bit out of proportion. And oftentimes I have referenced that on my channel, and I feel bad afterwards because I'm like, everybody knows Benchmade's got some quality control issues right now, and I'm being too broad. Honestly, for the most part, when I handle a Benchmade knife, I've got a retailer here in town. When I handle a Benchmade knife, it's there in some models that I pick up, but it's pretty rare. For the most part, the Benchmade knives that I pick up are functionally, they're great. Their centering's good, everything's solid. I don't have an issue with that. So I want to make that clear to people. You are going to hear, if you're a newcomer, you're going to hear Benchmade knives sometimes have quality control issues. It's pretty darn rare. If you have the opportunity to handle a Benchmade knife in person before you buy it, definitely, but the same could be said with any knife company. For the most part, Benchmade is very easy to recommend. The knife that I'm using to represent Benchmade is the Benchmade Anthem, which just so happens to be, I think, their most expensive non-gold class knife at about $430. But for the most part, Benchmade's models tend to run between, $100 and $250, which is right about that range where you're getting really, really good quality and you're getting, for the most part, what you pay for. Notable models from Benchmade: the 940, the 710, which is sadly discontinued, the Griptilian, and the new Freak, notably the Super Freak. Really, really great models. There's a ton more. There's so many from Benchmade that are good. It's really easy to talk about Benchmade in positive light because they've got an excellent warranty for the most part. Their fit and finish is really, really good. And they make good models. They make popular models, and they regularly come out with new, more popular models. So Benchmade is absolutely easy for me to recommend as a company. We have not talked about this knife yet on my channel. We will. Thank you, Jake, for making that possible. Not my knife. That's my buddy Jake's knife. You can check him out at Jake's Knives on Instagram. Next up, number 9. Asked me a year ago, and they wouldn't have even been on my radar. It's going to be Hogue. Hogue Knives, I've handled 3 knives from them as of now, and all of them have had excellent fit and finish. They've all been for incredibly reasonable prices. The one in front of you being the Doug Ritter RSK MK1 G2 at $155 for contoured, textured G10, M390, and probably one of the best knife designs that has ever blessed the earth. I've also handled the Exemplar and some other models, and Hogue has excellent fit and finish. They have excellent prices. It's only recently they've been kind of like really blowing up in front of people's faces. They've been around for a while, but they're really doing well. And now that they've got access to what they're calling the Able Lock, we're going to see some amazing things from Hogue. They are definitely easy for me to recommend. And of course, if you're a newcomer to this world, give them a look. They've got some really, really cool models, and you can rest assured you'll get a good knife from them. Next up, number 8, another company that I would not have recommended, asked me a year ago, but now having handled a few of their amazing flagship models, I can easily recommend. That's going to be Cold Steel. The knife you're looking at is a $30 Tough Light. Actually, you can find it for like $22 in some corners of the internet. Cold Steel has the Triad lock, which I've said many times is not necessarily a lock that I say is absolutely necessary in an EDC knife, but it certainly is almost unquestionably strong. You will very rarely hear people on the internet saying the Triad lock is not a strong lock. It definitely is. You can find it on a ton of Cold Steel knives. On top of that, despite their knives not being made in the United States, they do have excellent fit and finish. And despite some of their models not being ultra practical, the Espada, sorry folks who really like the Espada, I do not consider the Espada a practical design. They do have excellent, excellent everyday carry models like the one you're seeing in front of you, the Tough Light, the American Lawman, the Code 4. Excellent, excellent knives with excellent fit and finish. Most of the time you're getting excellent materials too. Blade steel, stuff like that. They've got knives for all different types of budgets, and from what I've seen, they make a quality product. So Cold Steel is easy for me to recommend to people. Next up, number 7 is going to be Kaiser. Now again, asked me a year ago, I would have been like, they're made in China, I'm not interested. Kaiser knives are made in China, but you know, I've had a chance to handle multiple models from Kaiser on the premium end and in their Vanguard series, which is in and of itself something to point out, that makes them easily recommendable. They offer a premium line of knives that seems to run between $150 and about $250 on average, generally titanium and S35V, and I think every now and then you find M390, excellent fit and finish. And then if people don't want to spend that much money, but they still want a nice knife, well, they've got the Vanguard series, which is a more budget line. You're getting generally G10 steel liners, VG10 steel. I think now are they changing it to N690? I think we see some D2 every now and then. Really, really cool. Notable models from the Vanguard series, the Sheepdog and the Begleiter, which are both available in premium versions as well. That's awesome. You can get the model that you want in the price range that you want, and you can rest assured that you're going to get a quality product. Yeah, Kaiser's easy to recommend. If you're a newcomer to folding knives, check out Kaiser for sure. Next up, this is going to be number 6. This is a company that's been around for a very long time and is very easy for me to recommend. It's going to be Microtech Knives. Microtech, when you hear Microtech, most people will think automatic, and they'll also think super high quality. Microtech knives are made in the United States. This is a SOCOM Elite, a 2018 model with M390 and a super grade of aluminum. I believe that's 7075 T6 above the industry standard 6061. In any case, What you're going to get from Microtech, generally, this is a manual knife, but generally you're going to get a very high quality automatic knife. Now, they do have incredibly expensive flagship models like the Scarab and the Halo 6 now. I think the Halo's on its 6th generation. Those are 550 to 650 automatic knives, but they also have very practical EDC models like the LUDT and the Ultratech. Those knives have proven to be very high quality and for the most part affordable. You know, it's close to that lower range where I was talking about earlier, where you're getting what you pay for the most part, high quality for a reasonable price without going over $300. Now that's going to be different for every single person. Microtech doesn't offer, you know, the benefit of a budget line like Kaiser, but they're still recommendable in the sense that, you know, if somebody were to ask me, you know, I'm looking for a really, really high quality automatic knife and I'm okay with spending some money, I'm definitely going to say Microtech. Definitely. You can expect quality from Microtech. They're very easy to recommend and they use very premium materials. I have been enjoying Microtech knives for many years and I plan to continue to enjoy Microtech knives. Number 5, I'm sure you guys knew that this company was going to be on the list, and that's going to be Zero Tolerance. That model is the 0620. We have not talked about that yet. Again, one of Jake's knives, the 0456. We've already talked about this model. Again, one of Jake's knives. And the ZT 0393, which this particular one, that's the GLCF, the one that glows in the dark. We have not talked about that one yet, but we will. Just going to use these 3 to represent Zero Tolerance. Zero Tolerance for a long time has had a reputation for making knives that are more heavy-duty oriented, at really high quality, excellent fit and finish, they really striking, aggressive designs, and they're very, very easy to recommend. Again, you know, like Benchmade, they've had some, you know, information flying around like lock face geometry issues. And Slicey Dicey has brought this up on my channel and in personal conversations, and I agree with him 100%. The lock face geometry issues that everybody's talking about with Zero Tolerance are absolutely overblown. Yes, there are some isolated incidents of that occurring, but for the most part, in fact, in my experience, I have never had a lock fail with a Zero Tolerance under normal use circumstances. I absolutely trust ZT. I have a massive sense of satisfaction every single time I buy a Zero Tolerance knife. If you've never purchased a ZT knife and you're kind of looking at them, let me tell you something. It's really hard to beat ZT in terms of that feeling like, if you order it online and you're wondering like, is it gonna feel like how much I spent? ZT does a great job of feeling like you spent the right amount of money or that you didn't overpay for the knife. They are generally, not so much lately, but a lot of their models are generally very overbuilt, have a very satisfying heft. They all, for the most part, have an excellent action. A lot of them are going to be flippers on bearings with steels like CPM 20CV and handle materials, in the case of the 0456, like full titanium. They also do a good job of catering to different budgets, whether you've only got 100 to 150 to spend or you've got more like 150 to 300 to spend, you're going to get a quality knife with Zero Tolerance. So ZT is very easy to recommend, and truthfully, they're a company that I've had more experience than most of the companies on this list. Really, really like ZT. Coming up next, number 4, slightly more recommendable in my book than Zero Tolerance is going to be ProTech Knives. Now, this is not a knife that we have talked about yet on my channel. This was generously offered up for review and loan by my buddy Lon. This is a ProTech Boker Quaken, made by ProTech here, but you can tell just by the button and the pivot that this is a ProTech. Like Microtech, when somebody asks me, hey, I want to get a really good automatic knife and I've got some money to spend, I just want to make sure that I'm getting a high quality product, the other company that I recommend is ProTech. And honestly, ProTech is higher on my list because they really do a good job of offering like straightforward, functional, high quality designs for a good price. Microtech they've always been known as a good company, but they've been really knocking it out of the park lately. Models like, that everybody's familiar with, the TR3, 4, and 5. models that I really like the Rockeye. They've got the Calmigo, the SBR. You know, they're kind of catering to you know, the areas where length, not necessarily the automatic nature of a knife might make it illegal, but the length of the blade might make it illegal. They're catering to those folks as well. It's really awesome. On top of that, all their knives are made in the United States. Just an excellent company. I have never had an issue with a ProTech knife, and I've handled a lot of them. They do a lot of really cool collaborations, as do a lot of knives, you know, or companies that I have listed. You know, and they have a ton of amazing flagship models. By the way, I forgot to mention in Zero Tolerance, they have a ton of amazing flagship models that I just didn't mention. The 0562, of course, the 0392 Factory Custom Series. There's a ton of knives in there. But all these production companies, what I'm getting at is they all have amazing flagship models, but they offer so many different amazing models and so many different models that cater to different people's unique taste and style and budget. And they're just good. You can rest assured with ProTech, you're gonna get a good side opening automatic knife. I'm not gonna attempt to close that one with one hand. Next up, number 3 is going to be a company that has makes knives out of China. It's going to be Riot. The knife that I am using to represent Riot here is a Beg Knives Steelcraft Series 3/4 Quaken that's made by Riot. When Riot first became, you know, known in the knife world, people were like, "Who are they? Are their knives good? Are they worth the money? They're being made out of China." Nowadays, for the most part, when you hear Riot, you're talking about one of the best when it comes to the Chinese manufacturers. They are absolutely 100% using ultra premium materials, 6AL4V titanium with carbon fiber inlays in this case, some nice polishing on that groove, S35VN with a satin belt finish, and some of the smoothest action you will ever feel with a flipper. Some notable models that I'm aware of from Riot, some of my favorites, the Wave, the Horizon series, the Epoch. They do a ton of collaborations, as you're seeing here. If something is made by Riot, it's pretty much a guarantee that it is going to be top quality. Don't be afraid of Riot. Don't be afraid of it saying made in China on it. Riot makes some incredible knives. They tend to be on the more expensive end of this list, but they definitely make some incredible knives. Very deserving of the number 3 spot on my list. Number 2. Number 2 is going to be WE, and in coordination with that, their budget line, Civivi. WE is just like, everything they do is just a home run. And I'm not saying every single model is recommendable to every single person, but basically, if you're looking for a nice pocket knife, you could just shop within WE and Civivi, and you would find a knife. Their Civivi line, or their budget line, which I guess in some ways is technically a separate entity, but they're a part of WE. They make knives anywhere from 40 to like $80. Generally, you're going to see really nice finishes. You're going to see bearings. You're going to see an excellent flipping action. You're going to see great handle materials. Just all the way around, you're going to see really nice stuff. An excellent functional knife. And then up in their premium line, you're going to see stuff like titanium, M390, satin belt finishes. You know, just crazy. Like, I mean, what you're looking at here is the Civivi. Boy, I'm missing the name of it here. But in any case, you guys will know the name of that one. The WE that you're looking at there, the one on top is an Elijah Isham design. That's the Arrakis. I mean, you're going to see really crazy premium stuff. You're going to see simple premium stuff. You're going to see crazy stuff from their budget line from Civivi, and you're going to see more simple stuff. But rest assured, what you're going to get is a quality product. If you're buying a flipper, it's going to be tuned correctly. It's going to function the way that you want it to flip. If you're buying a thumb stud opener, you're buying something that's designed to open a different way, it's going to function correctly. You know, they have something for everybody. And I think the biggest benefit to shopping with WE is that you have such a massive selection of knives and different finishes. You see a model you like, there's like 6 or 7 different finishes that you can get the thing in. You know, with Zero Tolerance, like say you're looking at the 0456, which is an excellent knife, but you're like, I don't really know what I think about that blue. Well, sorry, that's it. You know, with we now, for the most part, you've got between 4 and 6 on average different choices for different models. That's awesome, and they're translating that to their budget line as well. We is definitely deserving of the number 2 spot, and whether or not you would agree that they deserve the number 2 spot out of any list of 10, most people are not going to deny that we is just amazing. You're not going to hear a lot of negativity about we knives from anybody in the knife world, unless, you know, the only time you're going to hear any negativity is from people who just straight up don't like Chinese knives, and they're just biased against them without a lot of reasoning why, besides the fact that purchasing anything from China or anything outside of the United States technically harms our economy, which is true. But I mean, look, if you're looking for a premium knife, we is a great place or a great company to shop with. Absolutely. Okay, at this point, guys, we're down to number 1, and I'm sure you guys can guess. I'm sure everybody's been wondering, when's this company going to make the list? What position is it going to be in? Now that we're down to number 1, if you are, you know, if you've been a part of the knife world for a long time, you've been an enthusiast, a collector, a user for a long time, you're aware of this company. You've likely bought one or multiple knives, likely multiple if you really like them. And most people are in agreement that they are one of, if not the best production knife company in existence. That's going to be Spyderco. And I think a lot of you guys are going to agree with me here. Spyderco not only makes a premium functional product, they make a premium functional product, and they're pretty darn fair with the price. I'm laying out here 4 incredible models from Spyderco. The models that you're seeing here for newcomers: Mannix 2, Shaman, which is one of my favorite knives ever. That's my carry today. The Spyderco Paramilitary 2, which generally does not come in the scale color. Those are custom scales. This is the Spyderco Domino from their Taiwan line. These are actually all from America. Golden, Colorado. This is a Seki City, Japan model. The Delica. You can see there it says Seki City. And then they also have their Taichung Taiwan line. Now, these are all, for the most part, premium. I would say this one's in between. They also have a budget line. They have some Chinese made yet from another plant that are, for the most part, also have really good, a really good reputation for fit and finish, but are going to be less expensive, like the Tenacious, Resilience, and I forget what the third one is. So you've got knives ranging anywhere from like $30 all the way up to like $500. The new Spyderco Paisan. I don't know how you pronounce that. When people think Spyderco, they think functional, they think dependable, and they think reasonable price. And you have probably the biggest selection of flagship models. I honestly think Spyderco has more famous flagship models than any other company. I mean, obviously the PM2 and the Mannix 2, but other models like the Chaparral, the Yojimbo 2, the Endura, the Dragonfly, the I think I said the Delica, the Para 3, the Native 5, if I didn't mention the Native 5, the Military, the Spidey Chef. The list goes on. I'm not even naming like a third of the knives that made Spyderco famous, but I can tell you this, and Spyderco makes some weird stuff. It's kind of like Cold Steel. Like Cold Steel makes some really functional stuff, and Cold Steel makes some stuff where you're like, what the heck? Really? Why would I carry that? But for the most part, if you spend money with Spyderco, you're not gonna just, your wallet's not gonna explode or set on fire. You're gonna spend a reasonable amount of money, and you're gonna get an excellent, probably lifelong cutting tool that's gonna make you feel good about your purchase. And it's just, gosh, the way that they grind their blades, the way that they do their ergonomics. I mean, look at this. Recently, my newfound love for the Domino. I love these forward choils and the thumb ramps. The standard positioning for your hands. I mean, this is just amazing. Same thing goes for the Mannix. Standard position, forward position. The PM2, despite it having probably a handle that's a little bit too long, and definitely the Spyderco Shaman. Let me tell you something. The reason that I like the Shaman so much is not just because of the thumb hole deployment or the the pivot that's got that, what do you call that? The bushing pivot, where you can just crank it down all the way and it just stays, you know, which you find that in a lot of models. It's not the compression lock, you know. I mean, these are all good reasons to like a Spyderco knife, but gosh, it's the ergonomics. They just feel like a natural extension of your hand, and it translates well when you're cutting, and it gives you a sense of satisfaction and pride when you're carrying a Spyderco knife. In my opinion, Spyderco is absolutely, without a doubt, the #1 production knife company in the world today, as far as like which companies I can recommend to newcomers or, you know, longtime enthusiasts alike. Most people are going to agree. Spyderco makes an excellent line of knives, and they deserve that respect. And I imagine they're going to keep that respect with the knife community for a very, very long time. That is pretty much it today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, or at least found it mildly entertaining, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do of course have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those videos out, and if you enjoy all my content, then please subscribe to my channel, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.